Well, this is it. The end of the line. I've completed the Wrath Loremaster, I've completed all of the other Wrath Achieves, and you know what? Maybe I don't want to do achievements anymore. But I can never escape the achievements. I am the achievement man. Only one answer then.
Oh, oh, oh!
What? Where am I?
You're in the Maw now, the land of damned souls.
Who are you? Why am I here? I was a good druid.
I'm the jailer, a very well-written and fleshed-out character, and I can't let you unalive just yet. The amount of souls you send to the Maw when you're working on achievements is unmatched.
I don't understand. Why are your nipples hanging out?
I'm going to send you back in time to just before you complete the Northrend Loremaster.
Hold the phone. Why do you have that massive chussy though? I don't understand. Wow, what a weird dream. Okay, back to achieving I go. Time to complete the Wrath Loremaster finally. That's right, friends. I'm knocking out the rest of Wrath Loremaster. No more delay, it's time to game. These are the two largest zones by far, so let's jump in with Storm Peaks. Storm Peaks has two sort of main storylines to follow with a few little random things along the way. You've got the Sons of Hodor stuff, you got some dwarf stuff, and then you just got some random other stuff. Speaking of random other stuff, the first storyline we do is to help these green pyromaniac bat people in K3. They have some kind of kerfuffle with the local kobolds and magnetar in the area. This storyline leads to pretty much everything else, but for now, it's just destroying creatures that have lived here for generations and blowing things up in good old goblin fashion. But this does lead us to our first storyline that's actually a storyline, the Sons of Hodor stuff. So earlier when I was helping the goblins, I went up to this village of blue ladies to help free some goblins, but in the process, I meet a lady who has me abuse some enslaved non-blue people to make a blue people disguise. And once I put down a justified rebellion, I kill some people in the area, and I am proven worthy to be an honorary blue person in my blue person disguise. And that's the first storyline of the Sons of Hodor. I jump right into the next storyline though, which is hanging out with my new gal pals. But they want to torment me with some of the slowest quests I've ever seen for making a Chris Chan reference. The first being an on-rails shooter where I hop on this polar bear and I shoot the big Sons of Hodor boys. I can't control the bear, and when I don't get enough kills on the first pass, I have to do it all a second time despite only needing like 2 more kills. But that's fine, I knock that out, and then I get another quest that makes me want to cry. I have to rescue dragons over in the Sons of Hodor lair. Then I use the dragon I rescue to rescue 3 blue ladies, fly them over slowly, and then I go back and do it 2 more times. And now, this isn't as bad as some of the other rescue people quests in Wrath of the Lich King. Looking at you, Dragonflight. After this though, I guess I am extra worthy, and I get a bunch of new quests to do, but they're all nerd shit. I'm in this for one quest line alone, where I have to flay some yetis and kill some worms to save a bear and ride it to glory. I'm popular among the blue people, and they want me to go fly over to Thorim's giant sky tower thing and start beating up a bunch of dragons floating around it. And in the end, I talk to the big cheese himself, Thorim. And this is where the real world timeline of things gets a bit fucky-wucky. The end of this whole Sons of Hodor questline is how I finished out the zone, and I was kind of chunking through it here and there because this dude makes me fly all over the place. But here's at least how it starts before I go and do everything else in the zone, basically. Thorim gives me some quests because he wants to make up with the Sons of Hodor for ruining a birthday party or something, I don't know. And like some kind of preschool teacher, I have to help him make friends with the Sons of Hodor again. He says, oh, go fly clear across the entire zone, past the Sons of Hodor place, and kill some stuff, then come all the way back here. So I do that, I mulch the dudes, kill a boss, and then fly all the way back, and then there's no more quests.
Bruh.
I dig through my handy dandy add-on to see what I messed up, and there it was. I was supposed to loot those big daddies for a quest item as well that I'd also turn in, enabling the rest of the quest line. Well, unfortunately, I was born different and not in a good way, so I leave these kids to throw dirt at each other for a little while I go do the other quest lines. First, I head to Frosthold, where there are a bunch of yucky dwarves. But these dwarves start the secondary storyline for me, and a few others. Firstly, they want me to help them kill some harpies and feed their eagle friends. So I do that, game ending an entire society of harpies because some dwarves moved in recently. Questline completed. And now I have to start to hunt for Bran Bronzebeard, who's fucked off to Nowhere Land. I go check his tent, and then this big, slow dog makes me saunter at like 2% movement speed all the way over to a cave where I just kill a guy and pick up a cell phone. And when I call the cell phone, it's Bran Bronzebeard. He materializes before me as a hologram and told me he wants me to slay. So I cruise up to this big area of floating space robots and knowledge or something, I don't know, maybe it's what a computer looks like, and I carry out his bidding, destroying all of the heretical glowing shit in sight until I finally kill a boss and knock out the next storyline. Things get a little bit weird from here, I don't know, quest text is for nerds, but eventually I get a little robot man and I have to go around the zone and investigate a bunch of temples. So I fly to 4 different temples with it, and when I stand at a temple for a while, it'll start floating around doing a whole bunch of RP for like 10 years each. But once that's done, I complete the quest. Thanks, Blizzard. The little robot tells us to fly into this giant mountain butthole to do something, and then we find Bran chilling at the bottom of this giant hole. We hop on the wing of his plane, and we surf back over to Frosthold, where Muradin reveals himself as the Frost King or something, I don't know, and Muradin, Bran, and Magni have a big old hugging session. Gross, but storyline done. And one last storyline before we get back to the Sons of Hodor. There's like Dark Iron Dwarves up north or something. I kill like a big one. I don't understand how you can even consider this a Dark Iron Dwarf when he's like 8 million feet tall. But whatever, I murder everything. Storyline done. Back to the Sons of Hodor. While I was doing some of these other storylines, I did go ahead and do the last little Sons of Hodor stuff to get them unlocked by flying back and forth a few more times. And then to prove myself as a friend, they have me go all the way in the back, kill a bunch of dudes, head over to an anvil, and then do some kind of cult ritual so I can join their cult. I do a bunch of other stuff for them. I kill a giant worm at one point. I head up to this area with a bunch of frozen dwarves and other stuff to pick stuff up. But at this point, my combat broke. So I was just stuck in combat infinitely. I couldn't shadow meld it. I couldn't do anything. So I would just periodically have to yeet myself off of cliffs just to be able to fly. But it just keeps happening. Eventually, I get smart enough to log out and log back in, and I fix the issue. Yay! Eventually, I head back to Hodor Town. I turn in a quest, and I get another storyline knocked out. And now we're in the end. I've got to kid out Thorum. He has me lure a dragon so he can steal it, and then I give him a weapon. And then there's a bunch of battling happening, but honestly, by this point, I am completely over this zone. I've been here for like 4 hours doing this storyline. So I kill a bunch of named Dark Iron boys, and there's some epic RP between Thorum and Loken. And I get the achievement, which is all I really wanted. So whatever. And now, the next target, Icecrown, the final destination. But real quick, I'm gathering essential data, and I need to know who is the highest tier waifu. Is it Sylvanas? Is it Alexstrasza? Maybe Matthias or Anduin? Is this too degenerate of a question for you to answer? I hope not. Go fight down in the comments about it. I need to harvest all of the salt to feed my 47 children. The correct answer is Alexstrasza though. It's Icecrown time. Let's knock this Loremaster the heck out. The zone starts at the Argent Vanguard, where I gotta save the day single-handedly as per usual. I kill some bugs, I use a mount to save people in another one of these quests, but this one was only 3, so it's very nice. Thank you, Blizzard. Then, an epic assault attacks the base, where I have to spam one button to destroy 100 undead. Wowza! Then I move further up and I go across the breach into this undead area and start killing some undead dudes, and I do the only Crystal Song Forest quest in existence and loot some random stuff off the ground and kill some dudes or something. And now it's time for the most epic quest, the battle for Crusader's Pinnacle. It is an epic battle to the death against waves of undead to hold the point until one of the workers literally pulls an entire tower out of his ass and shoves it here. And this starts the branching of the zone with this first storyline completion. I start out with the 3 storylines to clear out the gates because they lead nicely into one another. I fly on up to this flying boat that moves around the zone a bunch, and so this is where a ton of the quests come from. And while it is a pain in the ass when that boat is flying really far south and you gotta fly down to it, it's still a pretty neat gimmick. I like it. I start with the Death Gate, which is basically just killing some zomboids and some undead, then killing a big boss and spending 10 minutes dumping some kind of juice into this cauldron. Bam, first storyline done. Next is the Desolation Gate. The very first quest is a bit of an oof, as I have to control this abomination and explode it to kill NPCs. Sometimes the abomination just randomly despawns, sometimes the mobs despawn. I also can't stock up on the quest items required to make the abomination, so I have to keep flying back and forth to make new abominations. This is a 10 out of 10 questing experience, and Wrath was certainly the best expansion. Otherwise, I have to kill some cultists in some creative ways, play in their goo cauldrons, and summon a boss to kill, and that finishes up the second gate storyline. So now we move on to the third and final gate, the Horror Gate. This one starts with me softening up the area between the 2 gates, taking out a lot of big skellies and setting up barricades, and then it finishes with me going on the gate, destroying some undead nuclear bombs, and I kill some big spooky dudes. And that knocks out the third gate storyline. Now let's take a step back a second for another quest we picked up at Crusader's Pinnacle that's not really related to the siege. It's a nice little quest with some neat flavor if you read the quest text, but if you don't, it is the biggest pain in the ass quest line and completely not worth doing. And despite me saying quest text is for nerds, I had to know why this quest was Flight Simulator 2008. So our guy Tyrion, he sends me way up north to check on some dude, because the dude's apparently a Giga Chad, and Tyrion wants to reward him. But when I get to Chad, he says he's got the plague and just to let him die, but he's scared of turning undead. So I go on a journey all over the place to help save him. First, we go to Moonglade to see if Discount Cenarius can help us, but he can't. Then I go bug the Dragon Mommy to give me some of her magic flowers, but that don't work either. Finally, I head to Shatrath. I talk to this literal deity of the light, and she rolls in and blesses him so he dies but doesn't turn undead. I also loot his shit after he dies like a true hero. And Tyrion is sad, but that's the storyline done. Back to these manly quests though. I gotta go help the Death Knights get a quest hub as well, and they want the Shadow Vault. So I head up there, I pop a big ass eye using some absolutely epic gamer moves to do it. Like watch this. I turn normal, I hit it with a Moonfire, one-shot the eye, back to flight form. Man, I'm good. Then I gather some garbage, kill some bosses, and revive them under the Death Knight's command. Storyline done. Things get sort of weird from here because there's a ton of quests open now, but not all of them actually matter, and that is especially the case with the Death Knight place. Some of you might remember the Argent Crusade area in the zone, but according to Blizzard Entertainment TM, that's completely irrelevant to the storylines of the zone, so that gets ignored. Fortunately, I have my handy-dandy add-on that helps me find what quests I do need to do. So I go down to this Bone Witch Lady, and she sends me into a crypt after I give her some bones, and down in this crypt I have to torture and then kill an apprentice. But being the elite gamer I am, I just one-shot him and then I wonder why the quest isn't done. Then I have to get inside of one of these big disconnection monsters and I kill a boss. And what a shocker, I disconnect. I log back in and I turn my graphics all the way down and I just pray nothing else breaks. And fortunately, I am able to knock the quest out before I DC again. Then I basically do a linear set of quests to kill various bosses so the Bone Witch can get some revenge. This culminates in something that I actually don't think I've done before in all of my days playing this game. And if I did do it, it was so long ago, I have no recollection. It's like this sneaky little high-level amphitheater of anguish with a series of bosses and all that stuff. After killing the last boss, though, the storyline is complete. We are in the home stretch now, only a few more to go. I head over to this area with a bunch of abominations being created and cause a little mayhem, busting up their portals, blowing up their abominations, going in and out of this cave several times for some reason, and I even get to do a really slow escort quest. Awesome! Soon enough though, I morb all over this guy named Morbidus, and that's another storyline donezo. Next I have to head back up to the Death Knight area and do a little one that I missed where I take control of this little ghost dude, and then I feed some dogs and I assassinate some ghouls, and that's done as well. Very easy, 2 storylines left. The next one is sort of designed to be the capstone of the zone in my opinion. Of course I did it second to last like a fool. Bruh. It starts out with us fighting under Icecrown Citadel, where I set off a bomb and then I fall even deeper all the way down to the ground under ICC, where I find a ton of old god stuff and Serenite, and in case you're wondering and didn't know, Serenite is Yogg-Saron juice. So Yogg-Saron's behind everything including the jailer. Then when you're down here, Ghost Arthas Child shows up and he says, yo, what's up? And he takes us over to repair a Demolisher and destroy a ton of Scourge over between 2 of the gates. Then I get to do a vision as Arthas, where I have to kill a bunch of my own soldiers and then raise a bunch of ghouls. I also disconnect repeatedly here, like multiple times. But fortunately, the quest progress stays in between disconnects, so I'm able to slowly knock it out. And I do some other stuff that leads me eventually to the epic duel between Arthas and Illidan, and fortunately this time I don't disconnect mid-fight. Finally, I head back to our boy Tyrion, and he has a plan because he hears that Arthas' heart is being transported. He has me put on this master-crafted disguise of a single dark hood, and with my bright orange thigh highs, we sneak in and no one notices us. We are seated in the audience waiting for our chance to ambush the heart, but what a twist, Arthas rolls in and he's like, haha, I saw you guys the whole time. It was the thigh highs, dude. And he hurts Tyrion, and we're all like, oh no, Tyrion, we can't do anything about this, and things are looking dire, we're about to be attacked. But then, the Knights of the Ebon Blade show up. It's like the Avengers, and after accidentally breaking the scripting because I just one-shot everything in sight, and I have to stand there for a few minutes, we get sent back to Tyrion's place, and we turn it in for the storyline completion. And there's only one storyline left that stands between us and glory. I head over to these forges and I hijack a little Geist. and I use it to do some degenerate behavior, like making some of these dudes fight each other, and I vandalize some artwork. Then I have to go and kill 3 Death Knights, and I kill 1 named dude, and that's it. Loremaster of Northrend ends not with a bang, but with a whimper. But it's done. And if you watched the first episode of this series, I mentioned I'd rate how these hold up today, and I'm still gonna do that in a short video I'll probably release midweek like the shill I am. But I'm not done with Wrath just yet. I'm still knocking out all them dungeons and all them raids. There's lots of dopamine points still to harvest from this expansion, and we're catching them all. So if you enjoyed this video, please like or something, I don't know. And Alex Strauss is the best waifu. Love y'all. See you in the next video. Bye.